You're thinking about creating a group offer because you're ready for something to change. Maybe your calendar is full of one on one clients. Maybe you're tired of feeling like the only way your business makes money is if you have another call on your calendar, or you keep hearing that you've hit the limit with one on ones. And the only way to grow now is to finally scale. So you start looking up how to build one. You start creating the framework, you start recording the modules and mapping out the launch, and all of that advice isn't wrong. But here's the thing most people skip: a group offer does not automatically make your business simpler. Sometimes it gives you more freedom, but sometimes it just adds another layer to a business that was already stretched too thin. And I've seen both sides of this. I had a client who made the transition from being completely booked with one on one clients into group offers, and it was absolutely the right move for his business. It allowed him to serve more clients, create different levels of support, and continue growing without trying to squeeze more hours into his calendar. But the reason it worked wasn't just because he switched from one on one to group. It worked because we already understood what was already working. We could see who he helped. We knew what created results for his clients. And as the business grew, we could make decisions based on what his clients actually needed next. So before you spend the next few months rebuilding your entire business again, there's one question I think we need to answer. Will a group offer actually fix the problem you're trying to solve? Because sometimes the answer isn't adding something new. Sometimes it's figuring out what's already working, what's missing, and what actually needs your attention. So instead of yet another how to build your group program checklist, we're going to look at the questions most people skip before they create one. As we go through them, let's keep track. Rate these questions with green if this piece feels solid. Rate it with yellow if there's something here, but it needs a little bit more clarity. And red, before adding another layer, this is the place to look at first. All right, now let's simplify this. Question number one: what are you hoping this group offer will change in your business? Before you start creating the group offer, ask yourself, why does this feel like the next step? Is it because you're seeing patterns with your clients? You're answering the same questions over and over again. You know what helps them get the results. And you can see how bringing people together actually makes the experience better. If you can see all of that, that's wonderful. Great. That may be a sign you're building from something that's already working. But if you're thinking, I just need something to finally make my business easier, that's worth looking at too, because wanting more breathing room in your business is a great reason to consider a group offer. But the question is, will this actually create more breathing room, or will it create a different set of things you now have to manage? And that's what these next questions are going to help you figure out. So before we move on, where did you land? Did you rate this question green? This feels like the next step from something that's already working. Or is it yellow? There are pieces here, but you're seeing some things you need to look at. Or maybe it's red. Before adding the group offer, there's something else that needs your attention first. Now on to question two. Do you know what actually creates the results your clients came for? Because a group offer usually means taking something that worked closely with one person and turning it into something that can work with multiple people at the same time. And that means we have to understand what parts of your process actually create the transformation. When you start thinking about creating a group offer, it's easy to look back at things your clients have said. For example, maybe they've told you, I'd love a community. It would be nice to connect with other people going through this. And those things can absolutely be valuable. But what else are they telling you? What helped them the most? Where did they need more support? And what would have helped them get there faster? Because the question is, does being with other people help them get the result they came for? Or is it just something that would be nice to have? So where did you land with this question? Green, your clients have given you the go-ahead. They've shown you that a group offer could help them get better results. Or maybe it's yellow. You have some feedback but there's still some questions you got. Or maybe it's red. You need more information before building the offer around it. Let's go back to the client I mentioned earlier. The reason his group offer worked wasn't because we took everything he did one-on-one and moved it into a group. We weren't just trying to fit more people into the same process. We were looking at how to create something that could grow while still getting his clients results. We looked at what was actually creating results, what his clients needed, and where they needed support. And most importantly, what made someone the right fit for that next step. That also meant recognizing when someone wasn't ready yet. Even if someone was willing to pay him, we could recognize, you're not quite ready for this yet. Here's what needs to happen first. And that becomes even more important when you move into a group, because now you're not only asking, can I help this person? You're also asking, does it make sense for this person to be in this group with everyone else? Question 3, do these people actually belong together? And remember, as we go through these questions, keep thinking about where you're landing, green, yellow, or red, because this is something that's easy to overlook when you're creating a group offer. It's not just about getting people into the same container. It's looking at what happens once they're actually inside. You may have people with different experience levels, backgrounds, expectations, starting points, and sometimes that's what makes a group powerful. People learn from each other. They hear questions they didn't even know they needed to ask. But it works best when the group supports the result they came for. And sometimes you don't fully see the answer until people are actually inside the group. That is exactly what happened with the client I mentioned earlier. The group offer worked, but as it grew, we started seeing something. His beginners, or those that were just starting out on their journey, and his more advanced clients needed different types of support. So the answer wasn't the group offer doesn't work. The question became, what do his clients need at this stage? And for him, that meant different levels of support for different stages, because growth doesn't remove decisions. It creates new ones. Question 4, what happens when the group offer actually works? So a lot of people don't think about this one, but this is the last question. So keep thinking about where you're landing, green, yellow, or red. Because after this, we're going to look at what these answers are actually telling you. This is the part of the business growth we don't always talk about, because sometimes there's a different kind of heavy that happens when things start working, and it's a good heavy. People want your help, your clients are getting results, and the offer is selling. But now there are more people, more questions, and more moving pieces. And that's where my client found himself. The group offers worked. He was able to help more people. The business grew, and eventually that growth created new opportunities and new decisions. But then he realized, I'm still spending a lot of time in front of the screen. Not because anything went wrong, because the business grew. So now the question became, what actually needs me and what doesn't? Somewhere along the way, we started acting like the goal of business was to build something we could disappear from. Couldn't be further from the truth. For most service providers, that was never actually the goal. You started your business because you wanted to help people. You just didn't want helping people to require every minute of your day. The goal is knowing where your time and energy actually need to go. What moves your business forward and what helps your clients get the results they came for. So now take a look at your answers. What's coming up for you? Are you seeing a lot of green? Are there some yellows that are making you pause? Maybe a few reds you weren't expecting along the way, because that's the point of asking these questions. It's not to prove a group offer is the right move or the wrong move. It's to understand what your business is actually telling you before jumping into the next thing. A group offer, a one-on-one offer, a membership, they can all work. There are so many ways to package what you do, but changing the container doesn't automatically change the business. You still need to understand who you're helping, what they need, and the best way to help them get the result they came for. That's the decision we're actually making today. And if you went through these questions and realized I have pieces that are working, but I'm still sitting in a lot of yellow because I'm not exactly sure what needs my attention next, that's exactly where I start with my clients inside Cash and Clients Without Chaos. Because before you start creating another project for yourself, building another offer, adding more moving pieces, we look at what you have already built. What's bringing in clients? What feels heavier than it should? And where your time and energy actually need to go next. Because the answer isn't always starting over. Sometimes it's knowing what to adjust. So if you're ready to simplify what you've built and create more consistent growth without adding more to your plate, you can learn more about Cash and Clients Without Chaos using the link in the description below.